Welcome to Bedford County Sports Talk Live, hosted by David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker. Brought to you by First Bank of Shelbyville. And Kincaid Service Company. Let's talk some sports. Here are your hosts, David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker.
Welcome to another edition of Bedford County Sports Talk Live. It is October 5th, Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. After some Friday night football, guys, we're going to talk some local sports and go over some local teams like we usually do. But, guys, we want to thank our sponsors. Kincaid
Service Company,
where service is their middle name, and First Bank here in Shelbyville. Let's hear a word from them, and we'll be right back.
Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today.
All righty, welcome back into Bedford County Sports Talk Live. I got Mr. Bill Anderson here, Mr. Kenny Parker. We're going to talk some local Bedford County sports to start with. Rough night for Bedford County teams.
More than rough.
Yeah, it was tough on the football fields.
Yeah, so you got some scores for us there, Bill, with our local teams.
Yeah, the local teams. We'll start off with the community really rough. They were down, I think, 54-0 at the half. I think that's right. Wound up being 54-8.
Over Grundy, and that was a game we thought they might have a chance.
Thought they might have a chance. And, really rough right there. And then you had Webb going against CPA, which is not a surprise. CPA blows a lot of people out, one of the best teams in the state. They lost 54-6. And then Cascade got shut out last night at home, 35-0 by Monterey.
Okay, and that was a special night last night, Cascade.
Yeah, it was a special night at Cascade. We retired number 5. Last one by Corey Phillips. Special young man, great young man that was a heck of a student, was a heck of an individual. Not only was he an athlete on the football field, on the basketball field, but he won about everything he did, but cancer got him. Cancer got him a couple of years out of high school. And, just an honor and a tribute to be able to retire his number. If you wanted your son, if you had a son, you wanted him to grow up, Corey would be a great individual to follow in their footsteps. So hats off to his mother, Tina, and his father, Walter, sister, Tay. Just a great family. And hate that we weren't able to finish the night off, but big night.
That was a highlight of the night.
That was a highlight of the night.
All right, Kenny, I know you've got some other information on Cascade Athletics that you want to pass along.
Walking across the football field last night, and I saw orange paint, and I said, "We play soccer here." And they said, "Yes, we had the district soccer championship on the game field Friday night." They beat Huntland for the 3rd time this year to win the district, and come to find out, doing a little research, I caught with a coach, Wendy Williams, and she said that was the 3rd time they had beat Huntland this year. They went through the regular season, district portion of the regular season, undefeated. So they will host the region game. It's not till October the 15th. It'll be at 6 o'clock on the football field again. They scored to win the game. The final score was 1-0. In the 75th minute, there was an assist by Carly Smithson. She lobs it over the head of the defenders, and freshman Lexi Comstock, left-footed, off-footed kick, found the back of the nets for the only score of the game.
All right, big win.
Big win for them. They're becoming pretty dominant in that district. I think they went to the state last year, but this year they had some award winners. Being it was a district championship, they named the winners of the awards. Sophie Reed was the defensive player of the year in the district. Kelsey Shatley, Lexi Comstock, Claire Smithson, and Kaylee Martin all made the region or the District 9A team. And goalie Iris Raja, Ellie Chapa, Emily Thompson, and Kayla Pooley were also named all-tourney team. So
a lot of individual awards.
A lot of individual awards, and they're playing good. And they played without their best player to win that. And anytime you beat, we all know, anytime you play a team for the third time and you're able to beat them,
yeah,
that was a big win. So that was a big win for the soccer.
And golf,
but the golf team went all-time high this week for Cascade, uncharted ground. Jeremy Bankston is their golf coach. They've got a seasoned golf team. Anna Clanton was she had the best score in the region. She shot a 1 over 73. 1 over 73 to place first. Tashiana Green was 4 over. She shot a 76, and she was runner-up. So they had the top two runner-up. The top 1 and 2. And then Sarah Kate Hall, another senior. Those previous two were seniors. She played, but the way they do it in the region, you play 3 golfers. You take the 2 highest scores. They knocked off the team that had won the region 6 years in a row. They beat Summertown. Summertown's top 2 girls still advanced on to the state, but they beat them by 15 strokes. So
big win.
Big win. They'll play, I think it's Monday and Tuesday at the Sevier Golf Club up in Sevierville. Big win for that program. I think this is Tashiana's 4th year in a row to go to the state. And Allie Clanton, it's either her 2nd or 3rd year. And then finally, the Lady Champion volleyball team, up-and-coming program. Monday night, they opened the district volleyball up at Community. So district volleyball for everybody will be at Community High School. Cascade plays at 6 o'clock, and they're led by 3 seniors, Madeline Keel, Latonia Carter, and Alvea Flanny, I think that's Olivia Flanny. But come out and support golf. The Lady Champions are making some noise, and for a small school like that, to have volleyball, soccer, and golf, there's not a whole lot of.
Yeah, back in the day, the only thing going on at this time of year is football.
That's right.
It. Back 20 years
Still
ago,
is.
even. Yeah, absolutely. But we got these overlapping seasons.
The community's the same way. They have
Yeah.
Soccer, golf,
Yeah,
and
Central.
and
all
volleyball,
our high schools do now,
Mhm.
and it's just weird that back when we grew up, it was just football. That's it.
But
Soccer didn't even nobody know what soccer was.
Big
Now it's
program.
here.
Mhm. Last year, the soccer team went to the state for the first time.
Yep.
And this year, the golf team.
Well, back in the day, the golf team, when I went to high school, played in the spring.
Yep.
Didn't play in the
Yeah,
fall.
they played in the
Right?
spring.
Because nobody wanted to schedule anything on top of football.
Mhm.
Now it's just everything's all over everything. You got all these seasons running together.
Yep.
So we want to wish them best of luck going forward, and all our other teams.
Congratulations,
That we had.
ladies.
Yeah, we've got Central doing the same thing and Community doing the same thing. So we want to wish all them the best of luck. But Bill, let's wind down our high school segment here with some scores from.
Well, let's go
around
back to
the area.
Thursday night. I mentioned it one. Rockvale beat Coffee County 21-7 on Thursday. Here's a game you and I watched on the TV a little bit. Tullahoma 31, Lawrenceburg 14. That's very deceiving because Lawrenceburg's up in the second half, 14-3.
Yeah.
and they're running the ball. They're doing some good things, and a couple things went wrong with some snaps and a punt error and a fluke touchdown or two for Tullahoma. Then Lawrenceburg decides, let's not run it anymore. Let's throw it every down.
Well, if you said a touchdown or two, then that means they got behind
By 3.
They were behind by 3
You don't quit
points.
running the football.
And then
You
it's
don't
like
go
they
away.
panicked.
You don't go away
panicked.
from your game
They
plan
went away.
unless there's not but
I mean,
a couple of minutes.
they were
left in the
throwing. They maybe threw 2 passes the entire first half, and then after the series of the mess up, they threw like 4 in a row, and were behind the chains.
game.
Well, Tullahoma's been very lucky
every
here
time.
because Columbia did the same thing. Columbia refused to run the
Yeah.
football, refused to play the better quarterback, and they wouldn't run it on them. And then Tullahoma just ran it every down against Columbia. Now, Columbia beat Spring Hill 21-0, but again, that's deceiving.
Yeah.
Spring Hill was in that game. It was in the third
It
quarter.
was 7-0, 7-0 until like halfway to the third quarter.
Well, it was 0-0 until they brought number 7 back in at quarterback,
Right.
and he moved the ball and got the 3 touchdowns with him at quarterback. I don't know why he's not playing. He sure played well against Shelbyville.
Yeah. I don't.
But that looks like the Columbia team to me looks like a different team than what we saw up here. There's some
Offense
kids
and
missing.
defense.
There's kids
Yeah,
missing.
like we said last week, something's going on.
Something's going on over there because there's some kids not there that were there against us.
Yeah.
So that was the way that one went. And then let's talk about Lincoln County for a second. 49-6 over Franklin County, but that game was 42-0 at the half.
Right.
Lincoln County's getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're big. They got a good running game. They got a quarterback that can spin it. One really good receiver. That's probably the only really good receiver they got, but they're getting better. And that's shaping up to be a
It's going
championship type game down in Lincoln County, probably.
9th week,
Next
to the last game.
Next last game.
well, 10th week now because they call it 11-week season.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Page, I'll just mention them because they're in the cross region. 49-6. That is the first points Page. They beat Lawson, but that is the first points Page has given up this season.
Probably was on their third string too.
Oh, I'm sure it was
Probably
late
late
in
in
the
the
game.
game.
Centennial 64, Glen Cliff 0. Nolans will beat Hillsborough 17-0. Marshall County 35, Creekwood 13, and Forest got beat by Gordonsville last night.
That's
homecoming over there, 36-19.
We talked about Gordon. We've got a good ball team.
I always do.
Forrest coming off the big win against Cascade last week. Yeah, that's where was that at, Gordon?
That was at Forest. It was our
Was it?
homecoming game.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you
It was
go.
homecoming over
You got
Forest.
another score down there.
Green Hill beat Warren County 38.
County scored.
I looked it up. They scored 14 points in the first game of the season
Okay.
against DeKalb County, and they have not scored since.
And that's the first points that Franklin County scored.
In a while.
In a while. Okay.
Now, they've scored another game.
Okay. All right.
I think Warren County plays Forrest next week. I think
Really?
Forrest and Warren County play next week. Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up. Next week, Shelbyville goes to Spring Hill. Where's Cascade?
I think they're open. This
They're
is
open.
their
They're
bye week.
open. And then Community
Sequatchie.
Sequatchie,
Wow.
and then
Sequatchie's having a
Webb's
good
at
year.
home. I'll be at
Webb's at
Webb this
home.
week. Webb's
Okay.
at home, and I'm
So we
not
got
sure who they're playing, but they're
got a full schedule this coming
It's
week.
Guys,
Except for
Sequatchie's had a heck of a good year. They beat Marion County already this year.
Marion County got beat again last night, but you had no good time.
Wow.
I thought they won that game.
Upsets. You can't tell in high school football what's going to happen from one week to the next.
No, you can't.
I mean, there's so many variables,
Yep.
so many factors involved. You know, just the emotions of 16, 17-year-olds.
I was listening on the radio show this morning. We just talked about variables and factors. There was a game played here in the Mid-State that didn't get finished till 10:30 last night,
Really?
and it was Friendship Christian 52, Providence Christian 51.
Overtime.
I don't know. The Providence Christian quarterback threw 7 touchdown passes, and the Friendship Christian running back had 350-something yards rushing.
Wow. It sounds like it might have been into several overtimes with that.
That's right.
All right, let's take a break, and we'll come back with some college football. Got a full schedule this weekend. And let's hear from Kincaid
Service.
Company.
where service is their middle name.
Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today. All
righty, welcome back in now to, we're going to talk some college football. And the all important
Absolutely.
Bedford County Sports Top 10 for this week is now this is a group of guys locally that cast their vote Sunday and Monday, and we put it together. This is the way our group has it: Texas number 1, Alabama number 2, Ohio State number 3, Tennessee number 4, Georgia 5th, Oregon 6th, Miami 7th, Penn State 8th, Missouri 9th, and Mississippi holding on to number 10 after their
Now,
loss.
hang on a minute.
Hey,
All these guys voting for Ole Miss. Does anybody realize you just lost to Kentucky at home?
but do you realize Kentucky just lost to Georgia by 1 the week before? Kentucky's better than you giving them credit for.
Not really.
If you're
South Carolina pounded.
If you're
I
playing
got the
Kentucky,
individual votes. You won't talk about it.
Well,
did
no,
Well, I just can't see
Yeah, I did.
you don't drop out of the top 10.
Did you participate in that?
I did not this week, man. This week
Okay.
was a bad week. At the
I didn't
Buster
see your
Hall.
name.
Georgia loses
No.
to Alabama, and we want to drop them 4 places, and then we don't drop Ole Miss at all.
Well, you dropped Georgia 4 places because the teams that they
Mhm.
are pretty good, and when you get on down there, I'll take Ole Miss against any of those others that you want to say should be in front
Well,
of.
let's just talk about rankings in general. All right. When you go to set your rankings, Bill, what do you look at? Do you think that this is the best team today? And they're in order of best to worst?
That's
Or
the way I
are you
look at
saying and looking at records and saying, well, they deserve this?
No,
like
I'm
you're
looking at
giving
who
them
I
an
think the
award.
better team is, and we
Okay.
just lost to Kentucky, and I still say it's a bad loss.
Okay, the way I do it, I look at it and I'll say, who can beat Texas? I don't think there's anybody out there that can beat Texas right now. 6 out of 10 times Texas is going to beat everybody that we come up against them, so I put them number 1. I look at Alabama. I was like, can Alabama beat Texas? Maybe 4 out of 10 times the way it is today, but they're coming on, and by the end of the season, they might be able to. But right now, I see that.
I
Okay.
would tell you, my number 3 team would have been Georgia.
Well, how? Yeah, that's
My number
debatable.
3 team would
Yeah.
have been Georgia.
The question becomes, can Ohio State beat them?
I don't think so.
Can Tennessee beat them?
We'll find out.
All right, we'll find out. But all this is this speculation. These rankings really don't
They don't
mean
mean
anything,
anything.
but they're fun,
Mhm.
and that's the reason we're doing it, just for fun. So we've got Tennessee at 4th, Georgia at 5th. That's saying Tennessee can beat Georgia.
And that's the way the national media's got it.
Yes.
Tennessee's now 4 as well.
Yeah. So
And there's another reason behind that. They got a 0 in the right hand column. Georgia's got a 1 in the right hand column.
And, Tennessee's one of only 4 programs to have never trailed in a ball game this year. Yeah, never.
all right, let's look
Tennessee can play.
at this schedule. Very interesting. If we're looking at our SEC here and a top 10 team that we put in, Missouri at 9, going to Texas A&M. Texas A&M favored by 2.5 points. I think A&M's going to beat them
I do not.
at home. I do.
They got a good chance. But here's the thing: if Missouri is, I hate to say it, somebody's got to have it. As light as their SEC schedule is,
Yeah.
if they lose a game,
They're
done.
Yeah.
They're done.
There's
As
no
far as-
second guess.
No.
A&M doesn't have a quarterback. That's the problem.
To that end.
And with Ole Miss, if they happen to lose, and they've still got a really tough SEC schedule, if they lose another one, they're probably going to be done also.
They may have their hands full today at South Carolina.
Ole Miss?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
South Carolina's defensive line is no joke. It's one of the better D lines. I don't know if they can do it on offense, but their D line's better than Kentucky's.
Well,
They showed us that.
let's
That
go.
County, Kentucky.
Let's go up the list here. Vanderbilt, Alabama.
Line's 22.5. I just think Alabama's going to come out here and roll Vanderbilt.
I think it'll be close, but I don't know that the line will cover it.
They're playing in Nashville, right?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
playing in Nashville.
Be way more Bama fans than there will be Navy fans.
I don't know. Vanderbilt's playing pretty well, but a lot of local Alabama people will be there. I think Alabama will cover, but like Corso said, just by a little.
All right, we got Ohio State, Iowa.
I just don't think Ohio State's playing anybody, and I don't think Iowa's that good.
Iowa is the problem with Iowa. They can't score.
They had
no vertical game whatsoever.
They've scored a few points this year, but they just can't score.
And they don't have the speed to hang in there with Ohio State.
No, they don't have.
Yeah.
They ain't put the money behind their program Ohio State has.
Tennessee goes to Fayetteville, Arkansas. What do you
Tennessee
think?
struggled in Arkansas. They've not played well there, but I still say
The difference here is
they're
that defense.
good. They're good. Their defense can play against anybody, and their defensive front is good. Arkansas is going to try to rely on the run, and I don't know that they'll be very successful against that front.
And one thing that Arkansas does, and I picked up on this, is the quarterback likes to roll to his right, but he always throws it to his left.
That's
which
a pick six.
And he's done it 5 times and thrown interceptions. You do it against Tennessee, it's going to the house.
Probably so.
And I think you'll see a blitz coming from that side too.
So the line's 14. You see Tennessee
I think
blowing
Tennessee will
it
cover.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he'll
Okay.
cover.
All right. Then we've got Georgia, Auburn.
Line's 24.
I don't think that'll be enough.
I don't either.
I think Georgia's going to be.
And like I said
hot.
last week, Auburn did everything last week to do but win the game.
Yeah.
Auburn just can't get out of their own way.
They can't.
Okay. Who else we got, Bill? What else you got?
UCF in the swamp against the Gators, and the Gators are catching 3 against Central Florida. How bad are things for the Gators?
Oh, man.
It's
I tell
pretty
you
rough.
what.
It's pretty rough.
But I do think
But
here,
Central Florida's pretty good too.
Colorado beat them pretty bad last week.
Oh, did they?
Deion beat them 48-21. He was a 14-point underdog.
Let's
Now,
think.
you know who UCF's quarterback is, don't you?
No, who's it?
KJ Jefferson, the transfer from Arkansas.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
He's
Okay.
UCF's.
All right. I want to ask you something about Florida and Auburn.
And the UCF's coach is you spit Auburn.
Oh, it's Gus Malzahn.
Gus Malzahn.
All right, let's talk about these 2 programs, Florida and Auburn. You look at those, and over the course of history, they've always been one of the premier football programs in the country. Their names are always in the mention, and they're in the heat of the SEC. A little down right now. They still got the athletes. They're getting athletes, all right? Maybe not as good as Georgia and not Alabama, but they're still getting cream of the crop athletes where they should be able to compete at a high level. So
But here-
what's going on?
Just because you compete at a high level, if you're playing your best
Mm-hmm.
and you're playing your best and you're still getting beat, competing is not enough. Winning
No,
is what
exactly.
you got to do.
All right, so
And we talk about this other little thing. It's called chemistry. And if the chemistry's off, like Auburn plenty good to win a couple of games this year. They can't get out of their own way.
Well, they're up 21-10 in that game and give up 14 points in less than a
that's
minute.
just, you know,
it's little things. It's little things.
and one of the hard things that I had to do when I started at Cascade, and we finally built this over time, wanting to win and expecting to win are 2 different things. Everybody goes into a game wanting to win, but when you expect to win, getting down don't bother you.
Wanting to is like a wish.
The difference to me,
Expecting to is like about
It's
execution.
going, that's right.
Auburn's got a coach that can win. If they'll give him time, he's
Right.
going to be fine. Hugh Freeze is a winner, and he's one of the
I
SEC.
don't disagree.
The difference with Florida is they're going to have to do another head coach.
And didn't give him time.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just not
Well,
sure.
that's,
He's
I
not
look
done a
at
good
that.
job.
I
is
look
he?
at that. They've got athletes. There's no question.
Well, he's
they
a heck
have
of a
athletes.
recruiter.
All right,
He
so
recruits well.
so there's something just not quite blended there yet,
Mhm.
and it don't have to be too far off to have you looking like you look.
Sure,
right now.
exactly.
I mean,
right.
it's just little things.
One person that can come in and get that chemistry and bond it together.
It's kind of like this. I got to
Because, like
thinking,
you said, he's got athletes. There's
What-
athletes there.
the best analogy I can come up with about these programs that are just a little off. Okay, I collect pocket knives. Man, there's some great pocket knives out there. Case, but we sell them here at the Winter Circle. Okay, those are great pocket knives. No matter how good that pocket knife is, if it ain't sharp, it ain't cutting, and it's about sharpening.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these teams that are at the cream of that are winning. They're good and they're sharp.
And
They're sharpened.
Another thing that's going to make the comeback for teams like Auburn and Florida to get back in it, we've just added Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah.
So now you're going to have to play more people. And we said it earlier in the year, a 3-loss season used to be pitiful. A 3-loss in the SEC now, and you still be pretty good.
Coach D is on here. Coach Davis versus Arkansas is scary. Last time we were in top 5 and played at Arkansas, we lost in '99. And that team, great defense. My question is, do you fire a college coach mid-season? What is positive and negatives? Okay, and then we have lost 3 in a row to Arkansas. Bye week is great to get healthy, but look how Georgia looked in road to start after a bye. We win, but I think it's much closer.
Quarterback play.
Coach D, who is that?
Robbie, isn't
Is
it?
that Robbie Davis? I believe it's Robbie.
I believe
Davis.
it's Robbie. Hey, but what I'm telling y'all is that this is the problem with Auburn. It's the problem with Florida. They don't have a quarterback. The SEC is getting like pro football a little bit. You don't have a quarterback, all of a sudden you're in the Southeastern Conference. You're in trouble. Think about it. Alabama got a quarterback. Tennessee got a quarterback. All these great teams have a quarterback, and you don't have one. Now, just getting a quarterback, if you can get one with the talent that's at Auburn and Florida, probably makes a big difference.
Yeah. The key now is getting one and keeping him.
And keeping him. That's exactly right.
Keeping him.
What else you got on your list here?
Michigan goes to Washington, and I think that one's interesting. Michigan's at 1 point, getting a point at Washington, but Michigan can't throw the ball, but they can run it.
Yeah.
Washington's still not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
No, they're not bad at all. Rutgers goes to Nebraska. If y'all have watched Rutgers, they've got a running back that's the real deal. He's good. I kind of like Rutgers to slip in there and beat them. All right. Last night, really good ball game if anybody call it. Syracuse and UNLV. Of course, UNLV is where the quarterback left from the NIL. They lost a running back, too. 44-41 in overtime, Syracuse pulled that off. And then Oregon beat Michigan State last night 31-10. But that game wasn't that close. Oregon was up 31-0.
And you know what we got next week? We'll talk about it next week. I believe it's Oregon, Ohio State next week.
All right. So, who you watching in the early games today? Yeah.
Alabama, Vanderbilt.
All right. Who you watching? You watching Alabama, Vanderbilt?
I'll watch a little bit of it, sure. I'm interested to watch the UCF Florida game today.
Okay.
Because if UCF beats them, that might be the end of Napier right then.
And I'm hoping Georgia, Auburn's on a good prime. I'd like to watch that game. And Penn State is playing.
They play UCLA.
Yeah. UCLA's not very good.
Penn State. All right. I'm watching Texas A&M and Missouri.
And I'll tell you what. Don't take out Tennessee off.
I know. He brings out a good point here.
I'll have my control where I can flip back.
But when you bring up history like that, here's why I said it don't mean that. It don't mean that. Those kids don't remember what happened in 1999.
But remember this. Tennessee's national championship run went through Arkansas, but outside of a drop ball, a fumble by their quarterback, we lose that game. You remember that one?
I do. Billy Ratliff made the hit for Tennessee.
Without that, and they were running the clock out. Then Jamal Lewis took over on the game. That was a gift right there, guys. Well,
Arkansas's quarterback has a propensity to give it away.
Yes.
And he just does. And that's been the problem for Arkansas this year. Has been untimely turnovers have killed them. And I just don't think they've got the players Tennessee's got on offense or defense.
The defense is.
That's what Tennessee's built on this year.
They ain't had this in a while.
Long time. If you had told me last year that it's going to be this good, I knew it was going to be good, but this good, they control the game.
Well, that's the difference in Georgia, Alabama, and now Tennessee. Their rotation at the defensive line is 8-10 deep.
Well, you always say offense wins the game, defense wins championships. We got 4 teams in the SEC that can play with anybody. Yeah.
And that whole secondary
can play with anybody.
That's right. And Coach Banks, the defensive coordinator at Tennessee, give him a shout out. He basically gutted that secondary and then went in the portal pretty much.
Loaded up
in the portal. Yeah. That's where about all these, most of these secondary players came from.
Yeah.
Look at this safety, the Carter kid.
You know why they're so good? Because of defense. Because that front seven's so good.
Absolutely.
That's the reason they're good.
Pressure is your best defense.
That front seven's good. The secondary's
and this front seven's so good, especially the defensive line. What's the kid's name? 27. Everybody said it could be the first pick in the NFL draft preseason. He hadn't done nothing. He doesn't have to.
Yeah. No.
He's a rotational player in this defense this year.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on. We've got to talk about a little pro football, but before we do, we want to stop and hear a word from First Bank, one of our longtime sponsors. For all your banking needs, check out First Bank. We'll be right back.
Hunter's education.
All right, guys, back in here. Bedford County sports. We've got some NFL talk going on. We were just talking about the Thursday night game.
Have you noticed how much
camera.
better the Thursday night games have been, though?
It started terrible.
Well, before it was always two terrible teams.
Yeah.
It's a lot better this year. This was a great game with the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Overtime game, 36-30. Kirk Cousins throws for 500 yards.
All of a
Atlanta
sudden,
win.
all of a sudden, that division looks better.
Oh, they were supposedly one of the worst in the
I know
preseason.
it.
Now they look pretty
They
good.
look pretty good. I mean, Kirk Cousins come out of nowhere on that.
He sure did.
But that's
509 yards.
That's a two-team division.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a two-team,
Carolina.
and they both played.
Yeah,
That's a two-team
Carolina
division.
and New Orleans is just.
New Orleans pretty good. New Orleans got
That's a
good defense.
two-team. That's a
That's
two-team
it right
division.
there. They're fighting it out for that. Right. What all you got, Bill? Got any information?
Titans are off this week.
Yeah,
They had a
right.
big win last week.
Yeah, they did.
I mean,
Let's talk. Well,
hey,
we'll get to
listen
that.
to you scroll. You know a win in the NFL is a win.
Let us doesn't
Get
get
it
hurt.
down.
You win the game. Good question. Somebody answer that
Don't
for me.
matter.
I'm not sure.
Probably not.
Because he did it again. Oh, I never saw him. You threw it right to a linebacker.
All right, there's a lot
It'll be
of
a
talk.
long year.
There's a lot of sports writers coming out of the woodwork on this now about him, but just showing up like he did in Kentucky. I mean, all the same talk. All right, so
It's going to until he changes, and then when he changes, if he changes,
Yeah.
he ain't gonna change.
well,
I don't think. I think it's in him to be a linebacker, not a
but
quarterback.
well, and I will say that he's got the mentality.
I
to do
know
that.
that's
But Callahan's got faith in him. He still is number
he's
one
seen
right now.
something. He's seen something. All right, Bill. What we got this week?
next?
All right. Jets and the Vikings. We got a London game in the morning at 8:30. That was pretty interesting.
What about the Jets?
What about the Vikings?
I know, but what about the Jets?
I think Jets will win.
Do you really?
I'll take the Vikings at defense. That Brian Flores has done a wonderful job as defensive
Yeah.
coordinator.
The Vikings can play. I'm not getting, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, they beat Green Bay last week, and that was a game sort of looked like an Alabama-Georgia game where Green Bay goes down 28. But I think if our quarterback is healthy at Green Bay,
And he didn't throw 3 picks.
yeah. Well, 2 of those picks bounced off receivers' hands. The last pick he had when he forced one there at the end of the game, they call it. But
Well, I tell you what,
he threw a
turnovers.
lot of short ball.
Here's the problem.
Turnovers
Here's
in
the problem.
NFL is deadly.
Here's the problem with the Jets. Aaron Rodgers better start feeding Garrett Wilson. You can already hear Garrett Wilson chirping.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
A lot of chirping starting to go on here.
Yeah. A lot of
That's always.
Aaron does not look healthy.
Here-
to me
here-
either.
here's-
He doesn't look healthy to me either.
Here's another thing going on with the Jets. They talking about Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I know.
Wanting him.
That talk right there creates some division in your
I got a question for you. Is his hamstring really hurt, or is he just not going to play until he gets traded? Because that's the
Right.
way it looks to me.
I don't know.
And if his hamstring is really hurt, why do I want to trade for him?
next year, that's all.
Well, he's
till
31
off-season.
years old.
Let's just wait till
Yeah.
off season.
He's still like
Yeah.
he's making $36 million this year.
He
He's
might
got
all
2
just
years,
about, he
17
might all
million.
just strap it up where he is and go on.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see how the cap space, a team like the Jets does not have the cap space for this guy.
Yeah.
Where he would be interested is the Commanders, who do have the cap space. He might be an
They're
interesting
getting
play there.
better. Yeah.
Who?
The Commanders, the Command Skins. The Command Skins.
All right.
Another
Well, just say Washington.
Yeah.
Another interesting game is the Bills and the Texans inside our division here, and that was interesting because the Texans running back's out again. Mixon, he's out, and
Yeah.
the Bills just got beat pretty good last week. I look for them to bounce back. And then you got the Colts and the Jags. The Jags are the only team in the NFL that is 0-4, and their coach is in trouble. He may get fired. If they go 0-5, I bet they fire
You
him.
know,
right then.
against the Texans, though, they played pretty decent at times. So,
Quarterback problem.
Yeah.
Lawrence is just not what everybody thought
No.
he was. And now they've paid him on top of that.
They paid him
Yeah.
on top of that, so they're going to have to stick with it.
Ravens Bengals is an interesting game. The Ravens are favored by 2.5 over the Bengals, who are 1-3. Jerry Henry, he's rolling,
He's
Yeah.
a player.
and he looks good with Lamar right there. That's how we
but
thought
it
it
takes
would.
a little pressure off
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson,
Sure.
too.
Sure.
And, you know,
And
I worry
open
about
receiving game.
Lamar's a phenomenal talent, but I worry about sometimes him protecting the ball. You know, when he takes off running, he carries it pretty loose. Did he have a fumble in the last game that
He
cost him a little bit? But that takes some of the pressure of him having to make something happen with Derrick Henry the way he's playing.
But once you
So-
start loading up on Henry, what happens? That's when Lamar goes
Yeah.
around the other side and he takes off. The Packers and the Rams, Kenny, the Rams are so beat up. I don't see them.
Rams are beat up. Packers probably going to go into this game without Watson, a wide receiver, and Dobbs, one of the other wide receivers. But their wide receiver,
This Wicks kid looks good.
Wicks has come on. Reed's still playing. They got a guy by the name of Heath he played at Ole Miss. He can play.
Yeah.
The Rams are beat up, but you got to make that long flight out there. And, they need to bounce back. And I think Love will have another game under his belt where I think you saw the difference in Jordan from first half to second half. Think about the first half. Is this knee going to hold up? Is it going to be okay? Am I going to do this? After he makes it through the first half, you see a total different
confidence in
Jordan Love in the second half. And I think that'll carry over to
But I
that.
sort of thought the Vikings let their foot off the gas too.
Well, and you have a tendency to do that when you're up 28. I think Alabama done the same thing.
I do too against Georgia.
Against
I agree with
Georgia.
you. 100%.
And I thought when I listened to after the Alabama Georgia game, I listened to Kirby Smart's post game, and he just told it like it was. He said, "Guys, when we went in the second half of the game, it wasn't 3 downs. This was a 4th down game.
Yeah.
So we weren't going to punt.
Yeah.
It was a 4-down game for us. So basically, 3rd down was our 2nd down.
Yeah.
3rd down was our 2nd down, and we knew that was what. And you look at how many times they did that against Alabama and converted.
They kept putting the pressure on.
They were 0 something on
Yeah.
3rd down, but they were like 4 or 5 or 5 or 6 on 4th down. So, and I think the Vikings sort of
Let up
but then again, I do think that Jordan, with his confidence, sparked a whole bunch, and it really.
Look at Darnold. Let's talk about Darnold for a minute. How he's come on. Everybody gave up on him in 2 or 3 different places, but you get a Justin Jefferson and you get Jordan Addison and you get some coaching, and you get some coaching, and all of a sudden he looks pretty good.
The Vikings coach has been known to take an experienced quarterback that had struggled.
Remember when he was seeing Ghost against New England and said, I was seeing Ghost, and everybody made a big deal out of that. Cowboys and the Steelers, how in the world Justin Fields has been phenomenal for the Steelers. Why do we keep talking about Russell Wilson when he's healthy as a quarterback? Russell Wilson is done. Justin Fields has played great. Great. I don't see how he's not the quarterback.
Yeah. Hats off to Russell Wilson and his career.
Sure.
Yes.
The first 6-7 years, I mean, he hit his
But he can't run anymore.
NFL Man of the Year.
But he can't run anymore. When you can't run anymore, that style of football
and the physical
done.
wear and tear he's had, it's hanging on him now.
I agree.
But how much of his game was running? Just like one day, if Justin Fields doesn't have them legs, he's done.
Yeah.
And that's
the way the NFL is.
That's the way the NFL's going.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys are without Micah Parsons. They're without Lawrence, the other defensive end. This is fixing to get ugly, ugly right here.
And Dak Prescott ain't playing as good.
Monday night, you got the Saints and the Chiefs. And I'm going to tell you another team it's in trouble. The Chiefs are in trouble.
They can just win.
They win, but boy, the injuries are mounting now. You lost your running back, you lost here. And really, I'm going to be honest with you, Mahomes is not
Did
playing.
they sign a running back back?
Now, what did you get?
Kareem Hunt, they brought out.
I want you to go back and reemphasize what you just said. You said they're not playing well because they've lost what?
They lost their running back and they've lost their Rice, the really good receiver.
All right, and then right after that, you said
Mahomes has not played well.
Well, why?
And he didn't play good last year.
Well, why?
Until later in the season.
Well, why? You just said right before it they've lost their number 1 running back and a couple of their best receivers. He don't have the same stuff to get it to.
Well, he's not throwing the ball as well.
Well, you know why? Because he don't have the guys getting open.
He's still got Travis Kelce, and he's still got Xavier Worthy, the rookie.
It's not an individual; it's a team, and it takes a. Why did we just say Darnold was getting better? Why was he having a better year? Because he's got a Jefferson, he's got this, he's got that to throw to. You got to have the surrounding.
That's Kansas City's line.
That's where I say,
well, Mahomes' mechanics.
Quarterbacks get too much. They get too much praise and too much criticism.
Well,
it's the surrounding game.
He's throwing off his back foot more than he used to. He's trying to make every play. He's flicking it.
He's never really had those solid mechanics. He's just always been able to get it done.
Right.
But I think his confidence factor.
There's a team, if they could figure out how to make it work, Devontae Adams makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense for the Chiefs in the situation they're in.
I don't disagree.
Well,
Did you see how the Rice guy got hurt though? Didn't you?
no. What happened?
Mahomes is the one that did it.
Oh, really?
It was an accident, but that was one of them.
It was action. He's the one that hit him. Yeah.
He is the one that hit him though,
Mhm.
which was just, bad luck right
It
there.
was just bad luck.
All right. So Titans got a week off. Who do they play next?
Next is Indianapolis and Nashville, and either the Titans win that one. Of course, we're just playing for a draft pick.
Right.
Here's the deal: Miami was worse than we were. Let's not all get excited that we beat them 31-12.
I'm excited we won. That's confidence.
The Dolphins' O-line is worse than ours.
Wait a second. And they also won without who didn't play on
Big
defense?
Jeff didn't play on
There
defense.
you go.
But the big thing was the quarterback play for Miami was horrible.
Didn't say it would.
Yeah.
Horrible.
All right. Speaking of
Tyreek Hill's running around wide open. The guy can't get it to him.
What about Tua? What's going to happen?
Yeah, he's coming back. He's
He'll
going to
be
come back week
He'll
8.
He'll be
think so?
back.
He's
Yeah.
cleared everything, and he's coming back.
He'll
Now,
play again.
Don't run the ball like you did anymore.
Right.
He's
And
gotta start
they're
playing
a
smart.
totally different team without him.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
He's got to start playing smart for
Yes.
himself. He's got to stay on that field.
Right.
Yeah. He's got to let some of that competitive nature.
And even though they've won a game, they're the only team in the NFL who's never had the ball with the lead. Did y'all know that?
Wow.
Never had the ball with the lead, even though they won the one game against Jacksonville. But Tennessee, the Titans' problem right now is quarterback. It still is quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And even if you go with the other quarterback, he's not great. It's just he's not going to give the game away for you.
Right. You got to go. You got to start there first. Just don't
Right.
give it away. Then
Right.
build on that.
Defense, really great, really
Right.
good.
The game has not changed.
No.
Turnovers, you got to secure the ball.
Yeah.
If you got it and they ain't, they can't score.
That's right.
If you got it and they ain't,
It's deadly.
tackling, and one we ain't talked about a whole lot is penalties. And you get yourself in a penalty situation, you go from 3rd and 4 to 3rd and 9 or something like that.
You give up 50 to 100 yards every game, you're digging yourself a hole.
Exactly. So you turnovers, tackling, and turnovers, penalties, and you got to tackle.
How many times have you seen the Titans come out, start a drive, or they just get a first down and they have a false start or a holding on first down, then it's 1st and 15 or 1st and 20.
Misses a change
The
up.
whole series is shot, pretty much, with
Yeah,
our team.
We'll talk about the Packers the other day. They were fortunate to only lose 31-29, had 5 turnovers.
Yep.
And about 14 penalties.
Another glaring problem with the Titans is special teams. Again,
Yeah.
we're going to get Stonehouse killed.
Yeah.
Can we not block on a punt? And obviously the word's out because everybody's coming after our punt.
And they're
Here-
coming to the
here's
same place.
And they
too.
come in the same place.
And what they're
Right off
doing,
the gut.
they're coming after, because that joker's a weapon.
Yeah, he is.
And they know they got to put the pressure to him, because if they just let him sit back
70
there,
yards.
he's gonna boot the.
This continues, I'd be firing a special teams coach. That's all I know to do.
You got to
Changing
do something
personnel,
because they're
doing
coming
something
right up the middle.
in
on
the
them.
same spot every time.
Yep.
Every time. And that's a
Okay.
problem.
Change your block.
Now, I do think this, guys, Indianapolis coming in here next week. If Richardson's a quarterback, I like the Titans. But if Flacco's the quarterback, I'll take the Colts.
Yeah.
Richardson is not an NFL quarterback now. And I don't know that he ever will be.
Yeah.
So the Colts and the Titans may have the same problem.
Hey, people make fun of Flacco, but he can still throw the ball.
Yes, he can. He threw it last year.
And he gets rid of it. And he's not going to get you beat like he did when he was young.
And I'm not so sure.
He's won just about everywhere he's
Yep.
been, but he's just not the flashy.
Right.
He's just
No,
not the. And
They just
they don't like people. No. they
If
won't
I'm
get-
Cleveland at some point, who's got a good team around Watson, don't you? I'd rather have Jameis Winston than Deshaun Watson. Deshaun
Yeah.
Watson can't play football.
They got
Yeah,
so
there's
much
a lot of
money
other
and want
issues.
him.
But there's so many other issues with him, too, that carry off
I agree.
off the
Well,
field, onto the field.
And I don't
everybody
know.
around
This
him.
is another guy, though, that even though he had all the issues that he had, go back to when he quit playing football after that torn ACL that took his legs away. He doesn't
Yeah.
have the legs.
Yeah.
That ACL, he never
I
came
want
back
to go
from.
away from the NFL. They just hit me right quick. What's Middle Tennessee doing today?
Off.
Oh, they're off today.
They're off.
Okay.
Guys, we need to wrap
So
up.
they can't get beat today.
That's
They
right.
can't get beat.
They cannot.
We are
lose.
past time, guys. Thanks to everybody for watching. We want to thank our sponsors. We'll be back again. Same place, same time next week. Get out, support your local teams.
Good luck,
You
Lady
got-
Champion
You got
golf team.
golf,
this year
you got
in state.
soccer, you got volleyball. Is that over now? Are they're in
Volleyball starts district tournament this week
This week.
at community.
All right, and all the other schools, they've got stuff going on. Get out, support your local high school athletes. And we'll be back next week to talk NFL, college,